Let's see how we can browse the history using GitKraken. So first we go to open a repository. We go to our project directory and open our repository. So here's the history of our project. We can clearly see all the commits we have created so far. On the left side, we can see our pointers. So master branch is just a pointer to the last commit over here. Now next to master, we have +1, which means we have another pointer pointing to the same commit. Take a look. That is our tag version 1.2. We have another tag pointing to this commit. Now we can search for commits right here. Here we can find commits by their ID, author, or message. So if I type GUI, this is the only commit that has the word GUI in its message. Now, as I told you before, all these GUI tools have some limitations. For example, here we cannot find commits created by a given author in a particular date range. So we cannot apply multiple filters. In those situations, we just have to go back to the terminal. Now we can select any of these commits to see its details. So here on the right side, we can see the commit ID, message, author, as well as a summary of modified files. So here we have modified 5 files. We can see all these files listed here. We can sort the list in ascending or descending order. We can see the list in the tree structure or in a flat list. Now we have a very useful option here, view all files. So if this commit has modified only 2 files, but we want to look at the other files in our project at that point in time, we can select this and open any of these files. For example, here, salespage.txt hasn't been modified. That's why we don't have an icon next to it, but we can click on it to see what it looked like at that point in time. Now let's look at our table of content file. So here's the final version of this file stored in this commit. To see the actual changes, we go to the diff view tab. So you can see this line was removed and replaced by blank line. I totally love the diff view in GitKraken. It makes our job a lot easier. We also have 2 tabs here, blame and history, which kind of bring us to the same view. Let me show you. So we can go to history. Here on the left, you can see all the commits that have touched this file. Here's the first commit and here's the last commit. So as we look at this commit, we can see how this file has evolved. So let's change the diff view to file view. In the first commit, our file was empty. In the second commit, we added these lines. And in the last commit, we removed the border under the header. Now, if you click on the blame tab here, unfortunately, it's not visible in my recording window. But if we click on it, we can toggle blame details. So this line was added in this commit over here by this person. So we can clearly see who has written what line of code. Now, let's close this window and this window as well. Back to our history. Let's see how we can compare 2 commits. So I'm going to compare this commit with this commit over here. To select the second commit, we press Command on Mac or Control on Windows. Now on the right side, you can see we have selected 2 commits. And here are the files that have been changed across these 2 commits. So this is how we can compare commits. Now, if we right-click on any of these commits, we can check out that commit. All right, now look, the head pointer is pointing to this commit. So it's in the detached state. Now to attach it back to the master branch, we right-click the master branch and go to checkout master. Good. Now, one more thing here. We can right-click a commit and create a tag or an annotated tag. We have a bunch of other commands here. We'll talk about them in the future. So this is how we can browse the history in GitKraken. Now, before we finish this lesson, let me show you another useful feature here. We can bring up the command palette by pressing Command and P on Mac or Control and P on Windows. Here we have various commands. We can select the blame command, and then here we can search for a file in our project. Let's say table of content.txt. So we have auto-completion. This is fantastic. I love it. So let's look at table of content. Now we can see the full history of this file. We can see we accidentally deleted this file in this commit and then added it back over here. And of course, if we toggle the blame details, we can see who has written what line of code. Very handy. Now let's bring up the command palette one more time. We can also search for commits. So we can search by message, like GUI, or by author, or by commit ID, and so on. Using the command palette, we can also create tags. So let's search for tag. Now we can create a tag. This will create the tag for the last commit in our repository. To create a tag for an earlier commit, as I told you, we have to right-click that commit and go to Create Tag.